Captain Forest here, and in today's video I'm going to be power scaling rubyrose from RWBY. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Also, huge shouts to HQ Squad, massive shouts to the team, they've been a huge help in my videos. Also a huge shout out to Frisk for actually helping me with some of the research and just constructing certain things for RWBY. Now I figured I'd give you guys a RWBY power scaling video. Volume 9 is fast approaching. I figured I'd do some RWBY content on the channel. I do enjoy RWBY, I love RWBY, I love watching RWBY, and there is an audience for it, so I figured I'd show like power of the verse and make some videos and maybe some versus matchups. But I'm gonna go ahead and get right into meat potato things and then talk about my girl rubyrose and see what she brings to the table in terms of attack potency and speed and all that good jazz. So in order to determine where RWBY would range in terms of attack potency, we must address some of her feats and scaling throughout the verse. Now in volume 6, RWBY is capable of knocking down Cordovin's mech with just a strike. This very same mech can produce a kinetic energy of 1.56 kilotons of TNT, which would equate to small town level, which is very impressive. Another feat that comes to mind was the time where Team RWBY fought against the Ace operatives. RWBY herself was able to physically hurt Harriet and also intercept Marrow's attack. This is impressive, as the Ace operatives are General Ironwood's elites and are heralded for their remarkable abilities and performance in combat. In fact, they demonstrate their abilities and power against Penny, as they are able to damage Penny in combat. This very same Penny who's strong enough to push Amity's ship into orbit, which was capped around the small city levels of attack potency, which is very impressive. This would also apply to RWBY's durability, as she's able to take a hit from Harriet too. Now as for speed, we've seen RWBY being able to react to Cinder's attacks in combat. This is impressive, as Cinder herself has shown to dodge Penny's laser beams. The first one, which was calced around 11% the speed of light, aka relativistic speeds, and the second, Laser Blast, which was calced around the 1.95 times the speed of light, aka FTL reaction speed. And Pyrrha has her own feat as well, as she was able to intercept Penny's beams with relative ease, which was calced around the 3.33 times the speed of light, aka FTL. And rubyrose herself in the Justice League / RWBY comics is able to tag Pyrrha. Also, just in case anyone asks, yes, the RWBY / Justice League comic is canon. Now with stats concluded, let's move over to something in the verse of RWBY called Aura. Aura is the very power source in RWBY itself, generated from the user's soul aura. For all users in RWBY form a passive force field around them to defend against attacks from opposing targets. Aura can be used to make localized barriers to block attacks, as shown by Ren. Aura can allow the user to heal from injuries, such as Jean healing a scar on his face. Neon was able to heal from her black eye, and Weiss, after being aura amped, healed from being stabbed in the torso, and judging from the spot where the javelin spear was thrown, it more than likely pierced through her liver, so it was able to even hit. Aura can even heal things like that, which is pretty impressive. In volume 6 episode 1, this huntsman was able to heal from his arm being twisted after being aura amped by Jean. It also provides resistance against heat and cold environments. Characters like Yatsuhashi and Neon withstood a geyser's air pressure, which can reach approximately around 210 Fahrenheit, which is very hot. Characters like that, due to their aura, can be protected from harsh heats, like that's enough to burn your skin. Flint's aura can also withstand the stream of lava, which tends to have a temperature of 2200 Fahrenheit, so there's some really good decent heat resistances due to natural uses of aura from all these characters. Now projected aura can also allow them to survive the cold tundra of Atlas. Without heating or projected aura, the cold of Solitus can kill you within a matter of hours. In the world of Remnant, it showcased it was so cold it froze most Grim instantly, meaning absolute zero temperatures. The aura can even be argued to be able to withstand temperatures even to those degrees, which is very cold. Absolute zero temperatures can instantly freeze things that touches the atmosphere, of course. So there's some really good things you can take it far with the auras in RWBY. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move over to RWBY Semblance and talk about her semblance called Petal Burst. So Penny, I'm gonna go ahead and let you explain to the audience what RWBY Semblance does.
RWBY is capable of traveling at an extreme velocity from one point to another by breaking herself down to her molecular components, thus negating her mass and then reassembling them at the destination, theoretically making it possible for her to transport all of us in the same way, as mass no longer matters.
What?
You can use your semblance on all of us.
That's right, folks. You heard Penny. RWBY can basically utilize her semblance in many different ways and for specific situations and purposes. For example, RWBY can morph herself into multiple rose petals and can allow RWBY to maneuver around her targets and split her molecules to create a duplication. Due to the velocity of her petal burst and how fast it moves, this is RWBY's go-to for blitzing her opponents or to get to places faster. She's used this ability in order to escape Harriet's grasp and utilize her restraints against her. RWBY propels herself in the air and darts around the enemies and tries to become quite unpredictable with how she moves to basically make her opponents feel confused and basically disorient them. RWBY also accelerated so fast that she was able to cause water to heat up. RWBY was able to create a small tornado that with her sheer speed alone was able to create a tornado and literally sucks up every bit of debris and was able to push back all the students and force them on the wall. Pretty impressive. RWBY can even use this to engulf enemies into a vortex, sweeping them in the air. RWBY can also maneuver around objects and items, for example, just moving around like attacks, avoiding them at fast speeds. RWBY has also shown to evade incoming gunshots from opponents, so she can literally just use this to basically dodge at any type of angle just to get closer or to just straight up avoid the attacks. And as mentioned by Penny, RWBY can also break down other molecule structures with her semblance as well. RWBY has also shown that her petal burst can be very useful in terms of landing safely after falling from like high places. So it kind of gives us some pseudo flight in a way. It's very impressive and it's very useful in dangerous situations where it comes to high places. Lastly, she's finessed people with her semblance, such as causing Neo to almost fall off the platform by pseudo flying from underneath it, and pushes her when on the other end. So that's going to round up RWBY's semblance. Let's talk about a unique trait that RWBY possesses called the Silver Eyes. The Silver Eyes in RWBY is a power blessed from the God of Light, which allows RWBY to flash a white light from her eyes that can be used for a multitude of things. This ability, as for now, has only been shown to work on the Grimm, who are dark entities, but there are some speculations as to it potentially affecting other things. But regardless, the effects of the Silver Eyes can basically petrify Grimm, such as the time she turned a wyvern and a giant leviathan into stone. RWBY's Silver Eyes also activates via her thoughts and a strong motivation to preserve life and protect those she cares about. The light not just only petrifies the Grimm, it can blind them and it can also vaporize them completely. Now, we shouldn't forget about RWBY's weapon, Crescent Rose. RWBY's Crescent Rose is a high caliber sniper scythe having two modes, with the sniper mode for long range combat and a scythe mode for close as well as mid range combat too. She's shown to cut through a horde of wolves in mere moments and tear apart Nevermore's wings, which were several times her size. RWBY has used the scythe's edge to mess with the footing of a Beringal Grimm. RWBY also gained an upgrade during Atlas, where Crescent Rose can now rotate 180 degrees for more precise strikes, and the scythe can be spanned in a 360 degrees rotation to defend against enemy fire. Another modification for RWBY's scythe, which is the sniper mode, which can fire shotgun bullets to shoot down her targets. She's showing she can fire at a Nevermore from hundreds of feet away in the air, and RWBY used the recoil of her gunshots to slow her descent in the air too. RWBY also uses an assortment of different dust in battle. She carries fire dust, which can ignite fireballs to incinerate targets. Ice dust, RWBY can also use ice dust as her bullets, so she can basically fire them at her opponent, and it basically freezes any part of their body that comes into contact with it. RWBY also uses gravity dust too. She can propel herself forward and basically use this in order to get closer to her opponents and slice them up in quick succession. And lastly, the lightning dust, which shoots out electricity based bullets to stun opposing forces or opponents. So that's going to round up RWBY. Overall, she has some really good feats, really good AP scaling. She would easily range from small town level and easily up into the small city levels of attack potency very easily. She has some decent scaling and decent reaction speed. She can easily range around the relativistic speeds up into the FTL ranges of speed as well. And yeah, overall she's pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. It's been real. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.